everyone. Hello. How are we doing this evening? So I want to once again welcome you to the 2016 Eastern North Carolina Film Festival, and thanks for coming to the Filmmaker Panel. Today we're going to be talking about building a film community, distribution, funding, equipment, and we're going to spend about 20 to 25 minutes. Our panelists will discuss that for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then there will be about 5 to 10 minutes of Q&A. So to introduce our panelists, we have director and filmmaker Michael Howard, fresh off of his show with Tyler Perry, Mr. Timothy Richardson, award-winning director and filmmaker Mr. Rob Underhill, filmmaker, 15 years old, ladies and gentlemen, of The Masked Man, which I'm pretty sure some of you have seen, Mr. Jamar Bevel, and director, filmmaker, and cinematographer, Susan Daly. And you can start whenever you're ready. Whoever wants to start is fine.
Rob, you're the head, go ahead.
Well, since I'm in the middle, I'll begin. Well, it's a lot of stuff to talk about. You know, I could sit around drinking coffee, or if you want to buy me a beer, that works too. I'm telling you about these things all day long, and then you'll go home thinking that you've just heard too much to process. So it's really, there's a lot to it. I guess I started doing filmmaking about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Just happened to be the right kind of partnership. A lot of you have met him or worked with him, Arvind Ragapathy. I've done almost all of my narrative films with him. He's been a co-producer on most everything, and he's been my cinematographer on most everything I've worked on in the narrative filmmaking world. That definitely happens to happen a lot. You end up working with a lot of the same editors, cinematographers, sound people, and that's actually what advantage I do have is that at this point I'm making, you know, the kind of products you can put right on the TV. I mean, it's that quality because, not because I got bazillions of dollars to work with, but because I've grown my expertise with these people. So I'm working with people that just do that good of work now. So that's a lot about growing your community. That's a big component of that. And I don't get to keep them all to myself, you know, because we've done this hard work together. They also work with other people on their productions, bringing their expertise, and cutting their, you know, they don't ask for Hollywood wages. Though a lot of these folks do get paid really well to do what they do as well, you know, in the community and commercially. So it's been a boon for us all in that regards too. So that's just a little bit about how I got started and how that grew into a community of filmmakers. And I've had the pleasure of working with most of the folks in this panel as well. What would you like to say?
I think that's very well said. Yeah, it is hard sometimes, but yeah.
Was this your first film or?
No, it's actually my second, but I kind of just say, whatever I don't like, I kind of just say it unofficial.
What about Susan? Is this your first rodeo?
I'm sorry?
Is this your first rodeo
No.
at this film festival?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Good question. Actually, I got involved when everything went digital. I actually got into it because I am a 35-year-old equestrian. That was my dream. I lived my dream. So anybody who's into filmmaking, bless you, go for it, because why not? I was told it couldn't be done. I did it. So when you say it can't be done, yes, it can. You just have to ignore everybody and plug forward. And I tell everybody they're crazy, but go for it. So mine was actually for advertising. I was the first one to get them out onto the internet and sell horses and do clinics and whatever. But I got very caught up with editing. I started with editing. And so it was the first time I did something that I was more attracted to than riding a horse. And that surprised me. So it escalated. I got into a lot of documentaries because the story was there. I didn't know anybody, so I would go on my own. I became a one-man band. So that's where I started, and then I think the first set I was on was with Arvin and Randy Bernard, with Rush with Murder. That was the first set, and then it just went from there. What else would you like to know?
Hey, that's fantastic. I'm the unofficial moderator at the moment.
That's right.
So, Tammy, tell us about what got you started. Was it some director that kind of got you in the world of filmmaking and maybe introduced you to Tyler Perry? That was me, right? Did all that for you? Be honest, they're all watching. Just tell them the truth.
The truth is, it was really me and my mom, but.
Fine, your mom did it. Right, tell us more.
Well, I'll tell the same story again, like I said in the last room. I was like really fascinated with Michael Jackson when he died, and I started imitating him, started dancing like him. There was times where I went to this pumpkin patch and I was like, saw my shadow and started dancing like Michael Jackson and was holding up all this traffic. But, like I said, TV's like a Pandora app. It's like once you watch one thing, then something else comes on, and something else comes on. And then, I saw this one movie called Norbit, and then I was just imitating a lot of the characters from that movie. And then I was acting, of course, and then my mom was like, I told my mom that I'm going to be an actor one day, and then she said, who told you that? And then I said, God. So then ever since then, I'm here now.
And you actually got to try out, and of course, big kudos to your mom. She's been helping you build this career, and also handling her own career at the same time, and also handling you getting through school and doing all that kind of good stuff. But there was one time you got to do an audition. I think this is a pretty cool story too, that you got to do an audition down at Tyler Perry Studios for If Loving You Is Wrong. We all know the outcome. You got the part, but it wasn't the part you tried out for. You tried out for like a more minor role. And what happened?
Yeah, I tried out for this little really small role. It wasn't that much. But I went in and I tried out for that role, and then after I did that, they gave me another script. I wasn't even familiar with it. They just gave it to me. So I started reading it, and I started kind of going over it. I had like 20 minutes to go over it, so I did it. I went over it and kind of got it all together, and then I went back in there for a second time, and then I did it. And they just told us to hang out for a while. So we went and looked around the lobby and stuff. And when we came back in, they told us that we need you in here. So we went in there, and then Tyler Perry was sitting in the room, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is crazy. I go in there, I do it, and then I come out, I'm like floating on clouds again. It's just, my mom was like, what's wrong? I'm like, Tyler Perry was in that room. And then about 2 months later, I get the part, and like I was leaving lunch from my school, and I was in the line, and I was like, and my mom and my grandma, they came in there and was like, hey Timmy, guess what? I was like, what? And they kept smiling, didn't say anything. I was like, what? And then I was like, did I get the part? They were like, yeah. And then I was really, really excited. And my friends, they really didn't understand. They kept asking me, was it my birthday or something? I was like, no. But,
Man, it took 2 months to get back to you. That's kind of interesting. Usually I think it'd be like, a week later, like, hey guys, we want you on board, but 2 months. Whew.
yeah, but I ended up that day checking out of school early. But
Yeah, that's good. Nice to celebrate. Michael, tell us about your experience in, I guess we're focusing on production.
Yeah, I just finished my second feature film, and then I've done a whole bunch of shorts and kind of documentaries and stuff in between. I guess to segue that into the topic, it's now's kind of the easiest time ever to be a filmmaker. If you want to be one, and I think some advice I've heard and have said to others is don't want to be a filmmaker, but be a filmmaker. You can do it on your phone now in full HD, 4K in some cases. Editing programs are free online, or at least cheap for more affordable ones. And so, it talks about funding and distribution and all that, but kind of overall, if you have like a smaller dialogue-driven film or something like that to practice on, now's the time to do it. Just get together with some friends, shoot in the living room if you need to, and kind of learn and put it all together and see how it's looking. But now more than ever is the time to get into it if you want, and just make that leap without losing thousands and thousands of dollars or, you know, years of your life to see if that's what you really want to do. And hopefully it is what you want to do, and then you just kind of keep building from that and do bigger things and work with more people. And, you know, like Rob said, you find people that are doing the same things that you like or that you work well with, and you kind of expand that. And, yeah, you just keep doing more and more, and now's the time.
Can I cut in for a minute?
Yeah.
Because the most experienced people here is Rob and Mike. Can you talk a little bit about, everybody wants to know is distribution. How do I talk about the different ways that people who do a film, who feel passionate, a lot of hard work, and they want to get it out there. I know one person did her first film, and she only got into one film festival, but she was very clever, and she got it into Amazon, and she's doing a free, or not free, a $1.99 stream through Amazon. What other ways that like you've got a film, how are you gonna market it, how are you gonna distribute it, what ideas can you, from your experience, that you can talk about distribution?
Sure. Well, of course.
That may help people think about
Yeah.
ideas for themselves.
Yeah, the big overview topics include either you go big time, which is its own thing, or you self-distribute, which is, it's kind of the two things. And even up the going through some sort of distributor model where a company provides this for you. There's all different kinds. You know, I've talked to everything from anyone that's made their first feature film and then gotten some notice. So the first time I got a lot of notice, I was at Cannes a couple years ago, and I got to have meetings with most of the production houses there because of my feature film, which is chronicles the Emmett Till story, and it's a story that most don't get to hear about. It's not part of school curriculum for some reason. Even Rosa Parks on the bus said that was her main inspiration for staying in her seat was the Emmett Till story. Yet I didn't know anything about it until I moved here, and someone was doing, Mike Wiley, does a one-man show, and powerful show, and it's a powerful story. Of course, it has a tragic ending, the boy dies, but it also inspires a whole generation of people to fight for civil rights and social justice. And so anyway, that was my in, because it had a great hook. It was at 100 film festivals. It got, I think it's up to 18 or 19 Best Film Awards at different film festivals, including some reputable ones like Garden State. And so that was my in to like talk to these guys, say, all right, what do you think? What can we do with this? And but even with that little bit of interest, it's still very hard because what they're going to look for is either your A-list actor, who has got your film ready to go with your A-list actor. I don't mean like that guy you see on TV that's like B-list or whatever. I'm talking about like, you know, one of the big ones, you know, Brad Pitt. Like who's your guaranteed moneymaker, right? And then you pretty much have no problem at all finding money to make a movie. That's fine. Or you get like a big-time director-producer. Well, once again, you don't have any problem if you have that. In fact, they just take over the show and it's not yours anymore. So what's the point? And then the other option is you can do it yourself. You know, have a great niche story. This is different, you know, than other things. Maybe it'll make a lot of noise in the film festival circuit. But even things like Sundance, you know, which is supposed to like showcase independent works, will have all the top stars in all those movies, right? You look at these things, even the one that wins Sundance probably has someone you know in it, you know, like a bigger actor. You got things like Slam Dance, which was kind of an answer to that. Like, hey, let's have the other Academy qualifying festival where we don't have all the superstars in it. But even then, they still filter in. I mean, it's hard to keep them out because they want to do independent stuff too. You know,
You need an audience. So
yeah, and they want. And to your point, like part of what this is all about is not making $1 bazillion, but audience. Like if I Am Emmett Till story could get on national PBS, you know, so that's what I'm kind of angling for, something like that, and just get as wide a net as possible to see it, know it exists, share it, and then I can like start branching into the education market, that kind of thing. That'd be great. That's kind of what I'm looking for. It won't be a big money maker. In fact, it might make a little money over the long term. That's fine. But most important for that story is just to get as wide of an audience as possible. And then I have other things that are more kind of entertainment based I'm working on. Like May 19th, we're going to do a test screening for Fever Dreams. Some people have been in that production that are here, like Owen Daly behind the camera, plays a prominent role. And so we're going to do a test screening of the whole feature. And that's a chance for any of you who want to be there. The ticket is available online now. Get your free ticket. It's in Cary Theaters. It's a little drive for some of you. Beautiful, beautiful theater. Michael's movie showed there recently, his new feature film. And that's your chance to like give feedback, of course, meet more filmmakers and have more cool experiences. But I think I'm jumping around with the question, but
I'll
Okay.
jump in
Yeah.
if you want on it. So.
yeah, but good.
And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I will say realistically, distribution, it's tough. If you're doing short films, it's probably not going to happen. I mean, there's famous short films that you can't find anywhere except maybe they threw it on YouTube because now it doesn't matter anymore with getting that distribution thing. Every once in a while there's a compilation DVD or something, but for the most part, if you're making short films, don't make them for distribution. If you're making an indie level feature, distribution's probably not the route that you're gonna find is super successful, even if you do a great film, just because it is so tough out there. If you do, you know, Amazon or your own DVDs, you know, that's wonderful, and you know, you can distribute it that way, but to try to get Netflix or try to get somebody else to pick up the DVD and do it that way, it's nearly impossible at these small levels. What you can do though is, like Rob was saying with building an audience, is that at this level, this is kind of what your point in doing it is. You know, you make a small short film, that's so you can show somebody, here's a short film that we made, help me make my feature. You know, here's what a feature film I made for $3,000, now give me $20,000. And then you kind of work your way up using all the films you've made or the experience and all the connections you've made to kind of go up and up and up. And then when you have, you know, some sort of star, or when you get some sort of, you know, bigger kind of topic that you can jump on, then those are the type of things that can kind of help get you there a little more. Things like science fiction and horror do have their own kind of genre that has a separate type of following, and those you can definitely find more success with, sometimes just because it's a horror film. If you're shooting on 4K, that's a big, you know, huge up to kind of to help with that distribution. But distribution, like I said, it's a very tough game at this level, and so you definitely want to try, you know, and you want to keep it in mind, but try not to go into indie filmmaking with that in your mind, because there is a big chance of the disappointment, and it can be a great film. There's great films that play at Sundance and things like that that just don't get distributed, and sometimes they have B and C name actors in there, but they just don't. You know, you'll find them, you know, sometimes on Netflix or, you know, eventually on DVD, but it's not the traditional type of distribution of, you know, yesteryear. And God, I remember when I was, you know, starting in film and growing up, you know, direct to DVD was like the slaughter of a movie. If it went to DVD without being in the theater, you knew it was a crappy movie that you'd see on USA at midnight or something. But that's changed, obviously, now with, you know, streaming and all of the things that we're seeing. Going directly to a DVD or Amazon or Netflix is no longer, you know, a negative thing. It's no longer a mark on your movie. But with so many movies being made, and like I said, it's the easiest time ever to make a movie, the problem with that is everybody's making a movie. And so the pool of all of these films is much wider, and so it's much harder to kind of be seen among all of these films. Not to say it's impossible, and I think, you know, that should be, you know, a push to get it out there as much as possible. But in realistic terms, it is very tough to get distribution at this level, but it's not impossible or tough to keep building an audience and get more and more people following you. So when you do more things, that gets bigger, and then you have better chance and success down the road with that.
So to sort of add on to that, so what you should be thinking, of course, is you all want to make a movie. We all do. Even if you haven't made one or ever will make one, you want to make one. So we're all going to be on the same page here. You want to make a movie, so you better do it because you want to have fun and enjoy the experience, even if it can be grueling at times. Overall, you're going to enjoy the experience. I know I do. Even at the hardest of times, I enjoy it. Because it is craft. It's making art, it's making friendships. It's organic process. You get to bring all these experts, you know, way more than you about different things, and help direct them. That's what a director does. You don't know how to do everything. That's why you're directing. Just making sure everyone goes in the same direction. That's pretty much what it is. So you're helping direct all this traffic until you make this wonderful piece of art or a great story. So you should do it because you love it. But also, something to keep in mind is don't recreate something awesome. This is my biggest pet peeve. It's like, you gotta see my new movie. It's just like X. It's like, well, if I want to see X, I would just go watch it at the movie theater. And you aren't going to do a better job than they did. You didn't have a $100 million budget like they did. You might do something cute, but if you're trying to just replicate it, you know, what's the point? Like, we're taking a plot that exists and then trying to do a half job on it. It's just not. It's a good experiment, but if you really want to, you know, make something you'd be proud of, you should do I'll tell you the things that's most successful in the film festival circuit, and I know this because I put a lot of films through the film festival circuit. Ones with really strong social messages are the ones that get picked up way more than everything else. So I've got a couple of pieces that are like really entertaining, and are maybe better. They're better quality than some of my social work. But ones that have social messages, strong social messages, like everything from anti-bullying to thinking about discrimination, thinking about any of these social things that we want to address. Those things get picked up twice as much easily. Like I've had my short film that really started to break through, Wolf Call. That was the inspiration to do the feature film in Emmett Till. It just like, I was just amazed. Like right off the bat, it gets like an Audience Choice Award, and then a couple of festivals later, it wins Best Film. The next thing you know, I'm on this. I'm one of 5 films chosen for a Black Reel Award, and what that is this national award, and you're up against films that like they're put together like by Denzel Washington. It's like superpowers. So you're up against the superpowers, and my little film is up there with 5. These superpowers, and I win, but you're considered the top 5 short film in, that address African American concerns. And so once I had that in the bucket, I used that as a way to leverage it, and I just put out a note to all 1,000 film festivals on Without a Box, which is what I was using at the time, saying, hey, want to just have a look at this? Which is kind of my way of saying, hey, do you mind just kind of bypassing the entry fee, because it's like $30 to $100 a pop, and you want to submit to 1,000 festivals, that would have been the price of a feature film. So, and a lot of them bit. So I got like hundreds of festivals that said, sure, let's have a look. And from that, I ended up getting, it's been selected over 100 film festivals across the world and won lots of awards and inspired making the feature film. But it was also a super strong social message. So that is that's what you want to try to shoot for if you're going to make your first film and try to get some actual playing power. If your first film is a really awesome little spy thriller, if it's not quirky and interesting, then you might not get any, might not get a lot of play. That's just one of the things we're up against. And I think a lot of film festivals try to be progressive and speak to the concerns of the modern day, and that's part of their angle. So that's why if you're going to go the film festival circuit route, you want to try to play into your strong suit. Does anyone have a list of what we're talking about?
What was that list again?
Yeah, do you have questions or anything?
We can go to questions, yeah.
So building community distribution, funding and equipment.
Well, we talk about equipment.
She can ask her question if you want real quick. I
Just
don't
a
want
quick
to
question,
throw your arm.
expounding some more on what you were talking about with distribution, would you suggest going ahead and self-distributing as you go through the festival circuit? Or
I think if you don't feel you're gonna have something that will get distribution, or especially a short film or something like that, I think that's probably your best bet. After you finish the festival circuit though, because sometimes most festivals, or at least some of the bigger ones, if you have it out there publicly online or, available for sale or something like that, they won't accept it, they won't screen it.
That was my concern.
Gotcha, yeah, but after the festival circuit's over, yeah, I think self-distribution is certainly a great thing, even if it's not, like paying to have it out, or, having people buy it, just putting it on YouTube and doing that, because I mean, the whole reason, we're making movies, the reason I make them is I want to move people. I want people to be, to enjoy the film or to talk about the film or whatever, and distribution's great, and the more you get it out there, the more people that can see it. But, my end goal at the end of the day isn't to have it, in the theaters, or it was, a loss, nothing happened with it. If people see the film and I have it out there and I can show it, then I've done my job, I feel, as a filmmaker, and that's, even if it's just, this festival, and that's the only thing that ever saw it. If people saw it and they enjoyed it, or, it inspired them to make it their own or do something different, that's kind of the whole goal. So if you can get your film out there, even on YouTube, and just send it out to everybody, and, people will come across it randomly, I feel that there's a lot to that,
Well, unfortunately, I can't do that with, mine's a feature, so I wouldn't do it with that one.
Well, that and you're up against the cat videos if you do on
Yeah.
YouTube, so you can't beat those.
And you can do it with features, or you can do something like Vimeo on demand.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I was
you-
going to suggest that Vimeo. on
Yeah, you
demand.
can do like Vimeo on demand and give it 99 cents, and maybe you won't ever break even, but, at least there's something there.
And I
it's
like
a way
that
for
they do
people
that
to see
because you used to have to go through like to get any traction, like iTunes and stuff, but then you have to go through these really stringent parameters, you know, to get on things like Netflix. You can do it too, but you have to like meet all these crazy demands on an independent filmmaker that a big production house wouldn't care about. That could cost a lot and be really difficult. And we won't go into detail on that because it's a lot of steps.
Can you, like on your Facebook, can you sell off of that?
I don't think there's any type of, not with Facebook, but I mean, you can,
Not
you know,
yet.
Vimeo, and, yeah, not yet,
Isn't
of
that
course.
right around
But
the corner here?
YouTube and Vimeo, you know, they have different things you can monetize on, and you can even do it with ads. You can put up there for free, but do some sort of ad thing on it, and then if enough people see it, you know, maybe you can get some money that way too. So there's certainly other avenues out there.
Ron, aren't you getting ready to do something that, you know, isn't it for the indie filmmakers that?
Yeah, we're getting ready to, hopefully within the next month or so, have an entire distribution system set up
Can you
specifically for
can you
indie films.
stand up? I can't hear you. Sorry.
No problem. I said that pretty much what we're getting ready to do is hopefully within the next month or so, have a distribution system set up based on exactly the concept of what you were just talking about. How there are the challenges that if you don't have big market, you don't have big stars, you don't have a big director, there's more of a challenge to get it out. Well, we're trying to nullify that challenge. We're trying to make it a little bit better for you. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I'll be glad to talk about it with you afterwards, but take away from what these guys are doing. But
It's called the Indie Spotlight Network, isn't
Right,
it? Well,
exactly.
but the reason, I was just thinking about it because after this festival, weren't you also talking about having some showings and
Right,
then
one of the-
having those filmmakers be able to sell their?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
their
one of the
thing?
things that we're trying to set up right now is for the winners of the awards tonight. I have no idea who they are, so don't ask me. But whatever the winners are, we're trying to create a award traveling show, if you will, to be able to play those films at different places, allow the filmmakers that were the winners, that they can come, they can talk to people, they can sell DVDs, they can, whatever they want to do. We do whatever we can to make sure your stuff gets out, so that, like you just said, so that you can have an audience, and that's what we want to help with.
That actually brings up a good point, which is one of the other ways you can get traction is to, and I've heard this talked about in a lot of panels and different film festivals that I go to, is to build your own audience. Now, sounds easy. It's super hard, obviously, but you either walk into the studio and say, hey, look, I've got Tom Hanks, he's in my movie, do you want to distribute it? And they say yes. Or you come in and say, look, we got this amazing movie and I've got 1 million YouTube views, real ones, not the fake ones you buy, because we can all buy them, but they're not real.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I do not promote this kind of activity. It's bad. I may have done it in the past in my earlier life, but but not 1 million. Never got 1 million. But 1 million YouTube views. You can walk in with that, where you can like show like, look, this is going to immediately translate to money once we have this available for purchase. That's another selling point. Not to mention you have an audience for future projects, and so yeah, building your audience it's a full-time job. I wish I could hire people to do it. Anyone here want to just do some free PR for a few years? Just see me after the talk here. We'll talk about it. But yeah, the distribution thing is like a huge animal.
It is a huge amount.
Yeah, with teeth and fangs and claws. Anyone else have a question? Oh, Ron, about the awards, did you get that $100 bill? I left it. If you find it, don't worry about it, just keep it. I'm just kidding. But it's interesting, a lot of people here are like totally doing this. A lot of people are trying to support this idea of distribution, empowering our local communities to do it. People like Anthony and River Media, of course Lamont Johnson is doing this too. We're all really trying to pool this ability to promote works around here, which is so hard because we're up against the Hollywood machine, which is totally designed for that purpose and has been doing it for decades with a lot of power and money and influence, and it's hard to compete with that and get attention on a national scale. When you're up against entire finance powers.
I just, I don't know what I'm gonna say here, but it seems to me that, especially, you're knowing that this idea about the social message that you have, if somehow you were in, I don't think any of us make movies because we want to use an avenue to make money. But if you could pair with this, if you could dovetail with it, so that the person who does your PR is before you start with your film, and that is the person that you're pairing with that already has a machine, but you're just kind of dovetailing into their.
Yeah, I can speak to that. There's not a lot. This is something that you all should know about anyway. When you do have a pretty good feature film coming out of the bucket, and let's say you have a screening at one of the big festivals like Toronto or Sundance or South by Southwest, one of the top ones that you have to world premiere at, or else you're not recognized as a real movie. If you're trying to be recognized in the film festival circuit, people that you want to team up with, or what will happen is you try to get distribution. You'll meet people like producers reps. And these are people that, yes, it is a full-time job, trying to communicate with the distribution companies and the big companies to get your film out there. It is a huge job. You don't want to do it. You want to spend the next 2 years doing that when you can make more movies. So yes, you do want to have someone do that if you can. Some of these companies, though, will just rip you the heck off. Literally, you pay them anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 to represent you and to do this job. And a few of them are reputable. Probably all of them have the ability to get your work to the right channels, because that's the easy part. Though, once again, it's hard for us to actually do it. It's a lot of work to get connected, and it'll be a sloppy connection compared to what they can do. However, the chance of it actually making any of that money back is very slim, because even a feature film that does find a reputable distribution channel, which means getting it on all the right channels, a little bit of P&R, you still probably will maybe make the money back that you paid them. This is reality. But if you find the right people that are really well connected, they can be a huge benefit, and it's worth the money. So, for instance, one company I plan to work with soon, the fee would be $6,500, but they're reputable. All the movies on their list, a world premiere at one of the big ones, Sundance, Toronto. And if you team up with them off the bat, they help guide you so that you are packaged properly, so they can make you the next one that world premieres at these places. So they'll say, hey, this is my next project. They just talk to the festival director. Hey, this is my next project. It's just the way you like it. And I help to walk them through the process. They do all these little things they do. Next thing you know, your movie is being world premiered there. And maybe even being out the better film that was just didn't have representation. It's just the honest truth. And so they also can do things like amazing things that's so hard to do on your own, like get that B-list actor who is not working that week on your project by just making a couple phone calls. Whereas you'd have to go through some agent, going through the drudgery and probably pay more than you should, yada yada. This guy just picks up the phone, makes the deal, it gets done, because they know all these guys. You need another writer on your project, no problem. They know these guys that work, they write for TV shows, that do all these things. So if you team up with the right one, they just kind of know everybody, or their friend knows everybody. And the one I want to partner with, they have legal in-house too, which means I paid $6,500 one-time fee. And yes, when they write the deal, they're going to get 10%. But A, I'm never going to get the deal on my own anyway. And B, I'm going to pay like $20,000 of my own money on legal fees if I want someone to be looking at my contracts and I give it to a lawyer, entertainment lawyer. I'm going to spend way more than I would have paid this little tiny fee to have them do it all for me. And they'll rewrite the contract. They'll negotiate more money. So yeah, back to your point, you want to team up with the right resources early, which includes production houses, not just the rep, but a production house if you have the right incentive for them to get on board, like pre-sales, or we can go on all kinds of different tangents here, but Lamont?
Yeah, I'm just going to dovetail off of what you were just saying by recommending that you do it early.
Yeah.
Once you have the script done, you need to get it in their hands so they can tell you that, okay, this will work, and this will work, and this will work, and just follow their steps. I'm working on one right now. I've been working on it for like 4 years. And we finally got a call from Sony, and they told us what we need to do.
And Lamont's been working on this for a long time. He's a great person to talk to about aligning your resources before you even get started. Not to mention let's say you do have the rich uncle even, or just like some people that have enough money to play around with that they can get you off the ground with your production. They want to see that too. So if you can like say, hey dude, look, I know you like me and my project, but it's not just that. I also have all this lined up and ready to go. You can feel more comfortable with the investment. And if you play your cards right, you can get things like the incentives, where if you put down, just as an example, I'm not sure exactly what the current one's in North Carolina, since it's always changing, but it's our weird, crazy state. But let's say it's $5 million, you get 25%. It's free money, is what it is. So you get the $5 million in the bank, you prove that money's there, and then they will release this extra $1 million that didn't exist before for free, basically, minus whatever taxes, and into your project. Well, that's money you can immediately use to say, like, look, this is kind of this is guaranteeing your return, or I can even like make this part of the deal of starting to return on investment immediately, because this is money that's already generating, into the project. Or you can use that extra $1 million as a guarantee for like your A-list actor to come, like, hey, this money in the bank is for you. As soon as you come and do your part, you get to have it. You get a lot of once you got enough money to work with, you get a lot of flexibility to do what you need to do.
I didn't know any of that, but I do know, I know a producer, filmmaker in California who has an idea, and this was what I was talking about dovetailing. He had an idea, and because businesses now know that when they present to the world that they're not only have their product, but there's a social aspect to their product, like Dawn dishwashing liquid cleaned up the birds that were in the oil spill, you know what I mean? So he had this idea, and he pitched it to Taco Bell to have some sort of, and I can't remember exactly, it's a college scholarship sort of thing that you win. And then he went in there and filmed it, and so filmed it for television to make like the commercial. So that's kind of what I mean, like you have the idea before, and then you partner with someone who's going to get you what you need, because he got that audience, he got that money, he got their lawyers to cover him on, because he had the idea, he pitched it to the right people who knew that it was a good idea and it could help make their company look better, but the filmmaker helped the company look better.
Well, absolutely. That is the other side of things we hadn't talked about, which is sponsorships or people putting advertisement money in for their products. And I believe just like film festivals will quicker accept your socially conscious message film, so will people like sponsors and money, not just individuals but companies want to get behind that. That's ways to get companies behind you if you have a couple people on your team that know how to work it. With a project like that, then my next shoot 'em up, right? Quentin Tarantino could get anyone to sponsor him because any movie he makes, so people are going to buy it. But anyone else, if you've got, even if you have a good track record, you've got to there has to be something they're buying into, either an idea or a concept or whatever. The same with getting a great actor though. Like they say, I have to do the story because it talks about this, and the script is good, So.
This guy did
Okay,
not
that's
have
good.
films that had been shown in Cannes, just saying. He had an idea.
That's this guy over here. So, tell me, you're doing it right now. You just finished, and we're going to talk a little bit about equipment and stuff. So before it even gets to all that point, what did you use to get yours done? I mean, you're a young guy and you got it done. It's very impressive. What did you?
Yeah, I used the Canon T2i. I started out a couple years ago on my phone and stuff, but yeah, I filmed that on the T2i. I had a Optica mic, had tons of help with like the boom and all that stuff. But I'm trying to upgrade to 4K because I just got this phone like 2 weeks ago and
It's 4K, right?
it's 4K.
Is it?
And
Yeah?
I feel so jealous because my camera's not 4K.
Well, the nice thing, 4K brings a whole other headache in the editing room. So what you're
Yeah,
doing
it's
now,
slow.
you're
It's
already
slow.
doing well. So stick with that for a bit.
Yes.
Did you have friends at school that
Yeah.
helped, and you guys all work together, or what? How did you do that?
We all worked together making this, and it took some time, but now I'm gonna be working with lots of fresh people for another project and stuff very soon.
Cool.
Work with a lot of the same people, you think? You got the bug, any of these guys? Any of these guys got the filmmaking bug, or? You
yeah,
do.
they're pretty nice.
One of his actors right there. Shamar, introduce your actor from The Masked Man.
Well, one of my actors in there was the one all the way on the left, right there.
That's man. All right,
Yeah.
guys.
What about you? You do acting. Do you have any hope or anything of doing films, or do you just want to keep acting? what do you wanna kinda do as you get more involved in it? Any ideas yet?
I just kind of want to keep acting and stuff. I kind of just want to keep doing that. I'm not so much of a filmmaking person. I mean, it seems kind of cool. Like, I mean, I may make some videos here and there, but maybe not like. I mean, I really don't know yet. I'm always
You got plenty of time. Well, a lot of actors, though, as you keep doing acting, you start to see all these cool things happening behind the camera. And so while you're in front acting, you're learning all of these different ways that directors talk to you and deal with you. And then one day after you have all this knowledge, you may just want to make, music videos or films and stuff too. So that's cool.
When Tyler Perry comes calling, you're gonna be ready, right?
Well,
Look, but I want you to take over directing the
I
show.
will say that when Timmy first went to Tyler Perry Studios in 2014, they were very impressed because he was well prepared for, the shooting, so everything that he learned from
That's
Rob
key,
was
yeah.
great.
Preparation is
My
key.
first credit.
You're
Oh,
welcome.
Oh yeah, Timmy's easy to work with. It's one of these kids where I'll be like, all right, so Timmy, this next scene, how about this, this, and this? And I'm not sure if he's really listening to me. He's kind of staring away, and I'm like, all right, and I go back. All right, let's just do this. Action. And of course, he heard everything I said. He just didn't like. That's what I love. Like everything goes great in there. It works. You've got a great head for acting, my friend.
You got a question over here?
Oh, yes. I had a question, especially with Rob and Michael. Do you guys write your scripts, or do you go out and seek screenwriters for the films that you direct?
I write my scripts. The ones I direct, I write. I've worked on other films that people have written or directed themselves, but yeah, I write my own stuff for directing.
In fact, if you go on the Box Brown Facebook page, you'll see him right up there as one of the abolitionists on the stage.
I do acting as well, but yeah.
Well, I do. I've got a lot of my passion projects are my own, ones I've written. I do a lot of adapting, so I'll take sometimes I'll adapt something for the screen. Sometimes I co-write. And I also get hired to do other people's projects. So like Fever Dreams, I'm the director, co-producer, but someone else wrote it. Same with Ledger Domain, which is coming up soon. It's like a horror film, and some other projects like just Karma Shadows, one that we just world premiered a couple weeks ago, and that one's another one where I just came on and helped kind of craft the short film from the feature, and then directed that. So yeah, so it's a lot. So to answer your question better, a lot of the ones that are not ones I wrote, people come to me with money ready to produce it. So that's. So I'm not exactly soliciting work that I want to produce and find the money for, because that is the hardest part. Finding the money is the hardest part, always, always, always. So either it's time or money. It's more time if there's less money. More money means could be less time. So we always try to get as much as we can. You can produce things for a lot less than Hollywood around here, but still there's going to be money spent somewhere, even if it's just feeding everybody. So that's always a challenge.
Did you write Wolf Call? Because I saw it at the film festival last year.
I did, yeah. Basically, so Mike Wiley did all the research.
Yeah.
I won't take credit for that, but I did adapt it into a short film for Wolf Call,
Yeah.
and that, of course, inspired Darhi. So when you get a chance to see that movie, I definitely recommend that. In that one he plays all 36 roles.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah.
the one I saw.
Did you see it, the
Yeah.
70-minute one?
Yeah, it was at the Down East Food Festival.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Cool. Glad you got a chance to see it. Yeah.
Got one more question?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm from France, Paris, and I also talk about the screenwriting stuff. Because in France, for example, a lot of screenwriter, it's really insecure, the business over there, because a lot of people gonna steal your ideas, gonna steal your main story. So then for that, they have a special association wherever you can go there and you can pay your own right. So I was wondering in America if there's the same thing exists.
Yeah, the shortest answer to that is you can do you can register with the Writers Guild Association, but you want to. It's been recommended to me that you copyright everything.
Yeah,
Do
WGA
the official
won't protect
copyright.
you the
Yeah.
same way. Copyright it, send the money, your script in, and you'll be set over every
How
course.
much
Yeah.
Is that expensive over here?
Copywriting's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, you can do it online.
For a book or for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Projects and all that, by themselves or?
Yeah, you have to everything has to be registered individually. It does.
Okay.
And if you want to update it for at least the Writers Guild, you just redo it, send in the newest version and re-register it. But now technically, everything's copywritten automatically. And if everyone's read it and knows about it, it's gonna be hard for someone to steal it and get away with it. And to be honest with you, I would never steal something. That's just, I don't know. Not even because it's just not practical, for one thing.
If you're using original, then people can just like copy whatever is original and put another story on it, so that's.
Yeah, it's a valid concern. I would definitely, especially now with how widespread everything is with just even Facebook, just going, hey guys, I got this cool idea the other day about it, and you just put like a log line of your story out there, someone can write a whole script on that, and you aren't protected on that. So, if you go on like screenwriting forums or filmmaker forums and stuff, just be real careful what you're putting out there so that you can, write your own script, get a copy, written, make a film, or, whatever it is you're doing down the line. But yeah, be real careful of the stuff that's out there because people can get away with a lot.
But to be the
by changing a little bit.
But to be the Debbie Downer, the chances of anyone stealing anything is so slim because it takes so much money to produce it. Am I really going to steal someone's idea that I might get in trouble for when it costs me like $50,000, $100,000 to produce it and maybe not get distributed? Probably not. So.
For example, like your kids like is gonna be like who's has some talent, for example, and it's gonna be a rip-off like that, For example, like on myself, I know like I'm writing a lot of synopsis, a lot of story, like somewhere like I'm like a lot of sci-fi, science fiction like a story, and in France, I've been talking to some people who are working in a business. I've been telling them like some of my point to show them that I had some skills, like to ask them if they like whatever I wrote. They told me like, man, whatever you're writing is already some blockbuster. But then I know I don't have the money to do whatever, like to produce it. I got nothing. So then to start with, like, I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm just like, there's nothing I can do so far.
It's obviously, I don't want to play it down. It's really important. And I also do TV series packages. And those are even a little easier to steal because a lot of your best ideas are in the first few pages where it's like all broken down to why this is so awesome, what's the awesome hooks. And that's the part where someone can like run with that, like, oh, I like that idea. I can just write my whole script based on that idea, right? That's where I think the real stealing takes place. Is not your awesome 50 pages, but your awesome 2 pages, which describes your amazing concept that's going to make a great movie. That's the part I think that would be the most likely to be stolen, especially by like someone who works in the networks and stuff. And so that's the stuff that even more so has to be secretly protected, in my opinion. They'll protect everything. No reason not to.
Yeah, because an idea like that you can't really copyright. People have similar ideas all the time, so they can just say, well, I thought of the same thing. My script is different. These are different characters. It's a different setting, things like that. But really, it's still that core concept of your idea, which is why it's important not to put it, like I said, in those forums or on Facebook, because that's something they can run away with, and you can't defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they will send you a letter. I know the network does this. In my younger days, I did this. I sent them some ideas, and they basically sit back and said that our lawyers have said that basically we cannot accept your ideas at this time because of the possibility of someone else thinking of it that's on the studio level.
Yeah, that brings up the point, which is if you're trying to submit your idea to before you even made it, right? You got a script for either a series or a feature film, and you want it to go directly to like, hey Paramount, I'd love for you guys to make my movie. Well, they won't look at it because unless it goes through your lawyer or through a real agent like a showrunner, because they're the ones that have the legal bindings to make it okay. But they won't want it, because otherwise they'll say, later you'll sue them. They'll say like, they stole my idea, and because back in the old days they'd look at hundreds of scripts, and it's so easy for you to say you stole their idea. But now they only get them specially filtered from the proper sources.
So they actually sent the envelope back unopened.
Oh yeah.
The 5 signatures. We open this, it's not being opened.
What are you doing next?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm working on a feature film for a new filmmaker called Shawnee Harding. So called Revision, and she's doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
She's doing it. I think we're doing a weekend a month, and she's halfway through, and everybody's. I'm amazed that nobody's jumped ship on her.
Yeah, bit by bit. That's how you can
because
do.
That's what happens. It's all volunteer. There's no budget. They were kind enough to offer to pay for my gas, which I turned down. I figured that's my donation towards their film. And that's the project I'm working on now.
Is there a place where they can find the project and also yourself online?
It's on IMDb.
They've kept it. They have a private Facebook page.
How about you? How can we find you online?
I'm not on. I am my worst critic. I have nothing online really that's new.
I mean, if people here want to contact you or keep
contact
up with
me.
you or anything like that, how can we find
Oh
you?
yeah, well, I'm on Facebook like everybody else. You
Facebook.
just have to remember that Susan is spelled S-U-Z-I-N if you want to find me. So, and, I'm sure if you search around Vimeo, you'll find work from 100 years ago.
And one thing that Susan and Ellen both do are behind-the-scenes photo and video. And while we're talking about all of the publicity and all of that, I highly, highly, highly recommend having anyone that you can take photo and video, especially if they know what they're doing and all of that, because the social media aspect is huge. And if you want followers, a couple text lines saying, hey, making a movie this weekend, having a lot of fun, isn't gonna do anything. But if you can get a couple awesome still photos up there of stuff that you were doing, a cool behind the scenes video, maybe this neat dolly rig you put together out of some cardboard and skateboard wheels and stuff, that's gonna be the stuff that interests people. That's gonna get them following you and liking your page. And then later down the line, when you want to get people interested, when you want to get people interested, that's the way to do it, showing all of those things. And so I think that's a vital part of the production, is having behind the scenes. So definitely keep that in mind with whatever you're doing and try to get that in if you can.
How can people find you online, Michael?
My company, it's Invisible Productions, and the Facebook page is probably the easiest way. It's just Invisible Productions, all one word, or invisibleproductions.biz is the website, and it has my current movie, and then future stuff will be on there as well.
How about real quick, Timmy? How can people find you online? TimmyRichardson.com. And are you working on anything right now? Taking a little break till Tyler Perry calls you back over?
I guess so.
All right.
He's like, school, living.
Life stuff. Oh, yeah,
Last
yeah.
question, sir?
I see that.
Look, I see his hand on
As directors, how would you describe the ideal relationship with your DPs? And I guess.
Like romantically or?
No.
Rob and Arvin have a very beautiful story. I mean, it's key. I think as a director, your relationship with every single cast and crew is key. DP obviously is a very important one because you guys are working so closely on such an important aspect of the film. But I would argue that your relationship with the grip who's holding that light, or the extra cast member who doesn't have any lines is there that day. All of that, it's so important to have those good relationships because you never know what film they're doing next, and maybe they'll bring you on board, or just being a good person, just making a good set and having that good connection with it. But yeah, the DP, definitely working with them before the production starts. All the pre-production is key. I'll try to keep it short. And then throughout the film, all of that, your communication is going to be key to get that the visuals that you want, and get everything there that you want and covered, so that when you get in the editing room and have that final film, there wasn't a whole lot of wasted time or wasted effort on set or missed shots or things like that.
Yeah, by the time you show up for the actual film day, you should be so prepared that the only thing you're doing is troubleshooting issues, like the unforeseen issues, right? You shouldn't be like deciding then, like, what do you think the background really should be here? Let's change the whole production set here.
Where do you want to put the camera?
Yeah, where's the camera going? So like you kind of figure out as much as you can, and that goes to the idea of being kind of groupthink. So you want to be like mentally in the same space as your director of photography and your production designer or whoever's doing that, and everyone. Like you kind of like, as a director, I try to make sure everyone got instructions way in advance, and we've kind of hashed out all the kind of more difficult things we're going to debate ahead of time. So when we show up, we're on the same page. We've already decided on the same kind of overall storyboards or designs, and then we're just able to make magic while we're there. That's really the important part. Magic is very important. Real magic, guys. The real stuff. It's very important because that's what creativity is. It's magic. It's this thing that you pull out of the air, and it creates like tangible things you can see and feel and experience. And those moments only happen if you're very well prepared. So you do all the kind of left brain, hard to do stuff ahead of time, so when you get there, you can really let loose and let your mind explore. And because I find myself every single setup doing new things that we'd not planned on. Like, oh wait, we gotta take advantage of this. Which is known as like a good example, one shooting the Carrington event. we're doing this barn sequence. They're in the loft, in the window. It's a kissing scene. But then we're like, look behind you, Rob. And I look behind me, and it's the sun is just fallen low enough, and it's got the clouds lit up with the most amazing colors. You can't anticipate this.
You got to turn around.
You can't anticipate this, yeah. So we're like, okay, we're gonna go and jump ahead to the shot where we're up there looking through that while they're kissing. So we ran upstairs, reset everything real quick so we can take advantage of that amazing moment that we would not have gotten, we could have never planned on. We just took advantage of it. Another quick example would be the night when we had literally 100 people with torches coming at the house to take it over and steal all their food because it's like the future when, whatever, it's post-apocalyptic. So they're all up there like torches. And it just so happened that there was this mega storm happening that night. And there were trees going down everywhere, but except for us. It was like this little eye, if you looked at the radar, like a 1 mile eye right around us, and the storm never came over us. But for like 50 miles in every direction, like the place is getting destroyed by rain and wind. So anyway, but at the same time, that did add to a lot of production design. So having just kind of these elements going on, not only saved our set, but also like just added to the texture of the movie. So yeah, anyway, magic, guys. Keyword,
Do you have a
don't remember
place-
anything else.
Do you have a place they can follow your magic on?
Yes, if you want to follow my magic, you can make donations at, no, I'm just kidding. It's so robunderhill.com, so just my name is my website. From there you can link to everything else like Facebook. That's the only place I regularly update with screenings and things coming up is on the Facebook page, which is Rob Underhill Productions.
Do you have a site or a page or anything yet set up?
What we got?
Yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Film Life, and I have an Instagram, TDE Jamar. You can follow me there, and yeah, on Film Life I normally upload short films, tutorials, just stuff in filmmaking in general and stuff. So yeah.
Is everybody on there doing that right now? Everybody got that yet?
I better have new followers when I get.
Yeah, no leaves until we've all been followed. Hey, we're missing one person. Who didn't do it?
Okay, we're going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate it. Please give a hand to Michael, Timmy, Susan, Rob, Jamar. Thank you guys so much.